Welcome to a moon salutation class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down first the poses that we find in the moon salutation, and then we'll go through them slowly and then hopefully flow them a little bit. So that's kind of my vision for practice today. And so we're going to start standing, and I'm going to face you, and you're going to face me. And you can be like in the middle of your mat. I'm not totally in the middle of my mat because I'm trying to be, well, maybe I guess I can go more in the middle. Trying to be a little centered here, I guess. The thing about, I've been thinking about my whole setup, and it may not be as glorious and fancy and perfect as other yoga people, but I'm a real person and this is my real life. And if you're watching this at home, then you have a real life space too. And whatever your space is for yoga, it's perfect, There's so much like perfection that is shown in yoga that makes it almost feel unattainable, unapproachable. And I want you to know that whatever you have is perfect. Wherever you are is perfect. Right now it's about being in the four corners of our mat and enjoying the movement of our bodies together. Trying to work on clearing our minds, connecting with the body. That's what it's all about. So I digress. So how moon salutations start with the side lane. So you can either stand traditionally big toes together, heels apart, or hip width apart. Remember, your hips are not your shoulders. Your hips come straight down from your hip bones. So, don't make it, I don't want you to be too wide. Get to know your body a little bit more, And very active in the legs. You're trying to rip apart your mat. Pull the belly in, shoulder blades into the back pockets. And then you're going to lift the arms up overhead. And then we're just going to lean to the right side and then come back up. And lean to the left side and come back up. And my hands are just overhead in prayer. Lean and back up. Lean and back up. One more each side. Lean, lift, lean, and lift. So that's the first movement, a side lean. Second movement is goddess. So we're going to open up the feet wider than our shoulders and our toes are turned out. And we're going to bend the knees, bring your hands to your thighs, and just warm this up a little bit by dropping one shoulder and then the other. However far deep you are here, that's where you are. I'm going to look different from you in a yoga pose because we don't have the same length of arms and legs and torsos. So honor where you are. It should feel nice. Might feel sometimes a little uncomfortable, but never pain. And then both shoulders. Maybe see if you can drop your hips a little bit more, a little sway from side to side. You're just breathing naturally. In and out. And then lifting up. Hands to your hips here. And now we're going to bend the knees, coming down into goddess, and lift up. You're going to kind of hold like you're a waitress, coming down and lifting up. 2 more goddess squats, lowering down, bringing your knees open to the baby toe side, and lift up, and down, and lift. Now you're just going to take your arms up overhead, and you're just reaching everything super long. This is our star pose. Star pose. And then hands to hips. So triangle pose, we'll do it on both sides. So first we'll do to the right. So your right toes are going to come parallel, and then your left heel is going to come out kind of, it's like on a 45 back there. Hands to hips. And then you're going to push your left hip back, and you're going to feel your right hip crease come in. And then come back to center. I call it sassy hip. Little sassy hip. And back to center. So sassy hip, bring your hand to your thigh. See how open I am? I want you to keep that if you feel like exploring further. And then we can lift that left arm up. Triangle pose. And then push down on your feet to lift up hands to thighs. So now we just switch the feet. So right heel comes in, left toes come out, and then we push that right hip. We feel the left hip crease coming up. Little sass coming up. Little sass, we'll hold it. Hand to thigh, shin, just avoid the knee, and then right arm lifts up. Open in triangle pose. And then you're going to push down to lift up. Hands come to your hips. And then just tick-tock the feet in a little bit. And we're going to come into pyramid pose. So to the right, our right toes are going to turn to the top of the mat. And then so are the left toes. But again, if they're a little bit 45, and our hips are to the front of the mat square. And you want to play with the stance, because a shorter stance versus a longer stance, it's up to you. Knees always soft. Inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to push your booty back and see if you feel yourself like open up. You want to try to keep everything square to the front of your mat here. And then thighs to your, hands to your thighs, shins, block or floor. Here in pyramid pose. And then lifting up. So this is like the tutorial. We'll get more into stretching once we go through. So we're just switching everything to the back of the mat. That heel is out, hips forward, pushing back, keep everything forward as we find our little pyramid pose. And then lifting up, and you're going to face me, bringing those feet nice and wide. You're going to turn the toes to the front of the mat, lift up onto your back heel, and then take your time, I guess, to drop your back knee. Goodness gracious. And bring your hands down to the floors of the block. I'm telling you, it's like every time we teach, there's so much I want to tell you and share, and it just, I get tongue-tied, and I apologize. So this is a low lunge with the knee down. So curl that back toe. Now we're just going to walk to the back of the mat and drop that back knee, low lunge. And curl that back toe, lift up. We're coming just to the center here to come into Skandasana. So you might be more up, and that's okay. We're going to take our right toes, turn them out, and then lean, use some blocks here, and bring that left toe up, and then come back to the center. So let me grab my blocks so you can see some blocks here. So my toe is out, I'm bending and lifting these toes up. One more time to the right side. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the opposite side. So now my left toes going towards that angle. I bend my knee and my right toes go up towards the ceiling and lift up. So like baby Skandasana. Two more. Just feeling it out, getting like how everything moves here a bit. And back. And then you can tick-tock those feet together. So that's all the poses that make up the moon salutation. And then we just flow them together. The hardest transition is going to be low lunge to Skandasana. If it's something that doesn't work for you, just stay in low lunge. And remember how I then walked the low lunge to the back of the mat? That's going to be your transition. And I will do my best to cue that as well. So now we're going to go through it slowly. I'm going to talk more about form and alignment. Hold, breathe, so that we start to stretch and open, and then we'll flow. Okay? So finding your mountain pose, hands to the heart center. You're going to make Charlie's Angels with your hands. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lean to the right. Hold and breathe. Push down into your feet. Open your heart. Maybe look up to the ceiling. Breathing. Pushing your left hip out. Nice stretch along the left side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Now we're bending to the left, and you're going to feel the right side open. So keeping the chest up and open. Maybe looking up. Push that right hip out. And inhale, come to center. As you exhale, you're going to step into goddess and face me. Hold and breathe for 4. For 3. Push the knees to the pinky toe side. Chest up. And then lifting up into star pose. Nice and strong. Super long. Hands to hips. Left toes parallel. Put your left hip out. And then find your triangle pose that works best for you. Remember, blocks are always your friend. No shame in the block game. Knees are soft. You're also though like squeezing your legs, belly in. Now this back foot, I want you to lift up onto your back heel. I'm going to grab my other block, and then I'm dropping it down and to find my pyramid pose. So I'm going to actually shorten that a little bit. These toes are off on a little bit of an angle, and you're squaring your hips towards the front of your mat. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, just try to melt down wherever it feels best for your pyramid pose. Intense, intense hamstring stretch. So from here, we lift up. Those blocks are quite handy. And we take that back foot and bend that top knee so we can set that back knee down. We're in lower lunge. Low lunge. Goodness. Excuse me, everyone. So here is where you can skip Skandasana and just move to a wide leg forward fold, and then eventually to, I'll cue you to that. So we're either going to move to a wide leg forward fold, or you're going to lift up and lower down, and you can even sit on a block into Skandasana. And if you're in the higher version, that's okay, or you're in wide leg forward fold. Okay? And if you're in Skandasana, pushing forward, and we're walking to the back of the mat, so if you're in wide leg forward fold, you're going to walk to the back of your mat and come down into your nice low lunge. You know, that is the hardest transition. Okay, I'm going to do it a little different than I had it written out, or I think traditional-wise. Just trying to make this as easy as possible. So we're moving to wide leg forward fold or Skandasana. So Skandasana, lifting the back heel. I'm going to take my block. I'm shifting so I can sit on my block here, Skandasana, or wide leg forward fold. And if you're wide leg forward fold or Skandasana, you're coming back towards the front of your mat. You're going to step your back foot up, and we're coming into pyramid pose. And then as we lift up, I'm going to start to shift my back foot a little bit, because I'm going to lift up and then come into my triangle pose. And then all the way up into your star, so toes turned out. Take up space, and then bend the knees. Knees go to the baby toe side. Goddess. Lifting all the way up. Drop the hands to your hips and just tick-tock. And I want to show you one more pose that will help us with our transition as we flow, called Malasana. Yogi squat. So you can have a block here, and it's like you're starting with those goddess legs, and then we're bending down. You can come to catcher's pose, or if you want to try to sit on the block or no block into Malasana, yogi squat. So I showed you the variations with the blocks. So you're going to need to be true to yourself if the blocks are what you want to use. I'm not going to use the blocks this time just so I can flow a little bit. So you're going to lift up out of, and I'm going to put those there. Come to the middle of your mat and find your mountain pose. Hands to heart center. Breathing in and out. And if we mess it up, we mess it up. It's yoga, it's a practice. It's not a perfect, right? So we're just going to flow together, explore. Moon salutations are not something that are done often. So I know even for me, I'm like, it feels a little wonky. So, you know, if it does to you too, it's okay. There's poses in here I don't love either. So we're doing it together. So your Charlie's Angels, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, center. And step your feet out nice and wide. Exhale to goddess. First finger, thumb together. Breathing. Inhale, lift to star. Hands to hips. Right foot parallel. Sassy your hip and find your triangle pose. Breathing in and out, chest is open. Breathe in. On your breath out, you're turning your hips, moving that back leg in, dropping into pyramid pose. Lift halfway up, step your back foot back, drop the knee down, low lunge. All right, so wide leg forward fold or lift and turn, Skandasana. You can see my hands are behind to support me because I don't have my block, and that's okay. And now we're going to move into Malasana. So I'm going to shift. I'm going to tick-tock my feet in, toes out. Remember, you can come to catchers or Malasana. Ooh, yeah, my knees got a little cracky. I like it. And so now we're going to be skandasanaing to this side. So it's going to be more of just stretching that leg out, or, you know, you can come to that wide leg forward fold. And now we're moving towards the back of the mat, low lunge. Curl the back toes, lift up, maybe step in for pyramid. I'm going to adjust my back foot back, lift up into triangle. Belly in, heart open. And then stretch up, toes out, star pose. First finger, thumb touch, exhale, bend the knees, goddess. Inhale, lift up, tick-tock those feet together. Charlie's Angels, exhale to the left. Inhale, exhale to the right. Inhale, step out, goddess. Inhale, star. Prep, triangle. Hold and breathe. Lift up on the back heel, pyramid. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step it back, drop, low lunge. Back heel lifts, turning in to Skandasana. Lifting up, tic-tac the feet in, toes out, catcher's pose, or Malasana. We're shifting to the left so we can bring our right foot out into Skandasana. Remember, you can always be my leg forward fold. And then we're coming to the back of the mat for low lunge. Tuck the back toes, lift, step those back feet forward, lengthen, pyramid. Adjust the feet, lift up to find triangle. Inhale to star, toes out. Exhale to goddess. Inhale, lift up, tic-tac those feet to where it feels comfortable for you. And exhale, hands to the heart. Now you can always, pause, do a few on your own, rewind, do a couple more with me. But that is going to wrap up most of our practice today. So take your time to come down to a seated posture. And we're going to work on some breath here. Nadi Shokti, alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to take your peace fingers and put them in the middle of your forehead, what we call your third eye. And your thumb and your ring finger are right by your nostrils. And just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now breathe just in through the nose and exhale just through the nose. Close the right nostril, breathe in through the left. Close and hold. Open the right nostril, breathe out. Breathe in through the right. Close. Open left, exhale through the left nostril. Inhale left. Close and hold. Open. And you're just going to do a few more rounds on your own. On your next exhale, release the hand down. If you're like me, it's allergy season, so I should have had a Kleenex. Oh my goodness. And then if you'd like to end with oils, I'm using Doterra Clary Calm roller ball, which is just a really beautiful blend for this feminine type of energy we're tapping into. I'll take 3 deep breaths with the oil. And if you don't have oil, no worries. And exhale. Breathing in. And exhale. And breathing in. And exhale. Hand on your heart and hand on your belly. And I know this can feel very vulnerable, uncomfortable. But one of the beautiful things about yoga is getting in touch with our body and finding gratitude and love for our bodies. And so maybe just trying to lean in here, sitting and breathing and taking a moment to understand what you just did and how amazing it is, whatever your poses look like, because there's a lot of people who wish they could do what you just did. So finding the gratitude there. Giving love to yourself, to your body, for all the amazing thing it does for you all day long. And one of the most amazing things, seems silly, is I feel like I'm a smart kid, but when I was growing up as a teenager, I didn't understand that you had to eat more calories. Like you had to eat basically because your body needed calories to survive. Why that was a novel concept to me, I have no idea. But your body needs breath, it needs movement, it needs nourishment, it needs you to love it, because we're here in these bodies for hopefully a really long time. Asking yourself if you can shift to speaking to yourself as you would a friend. Thinking about maybe some of the things that you say to yourself, and would you ever say that to a friend? And I guarantee you probably wouldn't. Allowing yourself to see yourself through the eyes of others. How much love they have for you. Give that to yourself. Bring the hands together at the heart, nod the chin down. And thank you so much, my friends, for practicing with me today, because it is a practice. It's not a perfect. And you are imperfectly perfect. Phrase that just speaks to me. And know that you're worthy of everything that you want. Okay? Again, metta. And I can't wait to see you next time on the mat.